Hi, today we are going to be performing polynomial long division. Before we start that, you should probably write this down. There are two exponent rules that we are going to need in order to perform polynomial division. So let me remind you of these two exponent rules. The first one is called quotient rule or quotient of powers, however you want to call it. But this is the rule that shows you how to divide with like bases and exponents. So say your base is x and you have x to the a power divided by x to the b power. That is going to equal x to the a minus b power. So basically the gist of quotient rule is to divide the coefficients as normal, right? Because it is division, right? This is a division sign. So if there was a coefficient here like 10, and then this coefficient here was 2, then we would have 10 over 2 would give us 5. Okay, so you're going to divide your coefficients as normal, but you have to subtract exponents that have the same base. The second rule that I'm going to remind you of is called product rule. And this rule shows us how to multiply monomials that have like bases with exponents. So say you have x to the a power times x to the b power. That is going to equal x to the a plus b power. So the gist there is you're going to multiply your coefficients as normal because it is a multiplication problem. Coefficients have some extra letters here that shouldn't be there. Hold on. So like if let's say the coefficient here was 2 and then this coefficient was 3, so then you would get a 6 here. Okay? So that's normal. But as for exponents that have the same base, you're going to add the exponents. So these are the two rules that we need to remember as we are performing polynomial long division. Okay, so let's start. If you can recall long division from middle school, there are 4 basic steps to performing long division with regular numbers, right? So ignore polynomials for a second and just remember how long division is normally performed. So the first step we're going to be doing is we are going to divide, right? Then you are going to multiply. Then subtract. And last, bring down. Okay, so what I have here for you today is we have the long division already set up for us. So the boxes are already prepared for us. So we're going to start like this, but hopefully the goal is to be able to set up the problem ourselves afterwards. So right now it's already set up. We're going to do the problems, and then after that, we'll just work on a normal problem without it already being set up so that you can perform that completely on your own. Okay, so first you need to make sure that you write the divisor on the outside. The divisor is what you are dividing by. The divisor is what you are dividing by. And on the inside, you're going to write the dividend. The dividend is what is being divided by the divisor. So that's the first step, is to make sure that you have set up the problem correctly. Divisor on the outside, dividend on the inside. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and divide. Now, when we are dividing, we are thinking about the quotient rule. So the first thing that we are going to divide is we are dividing 3x squared by x. So 3x squared divided by x. Okay, the only coefficient we have is 3. So we have 3 divided by 1. 3 over 1 is just 3. But then we have x squared divided by x. Well, this exponent is 2 at the top, and at the bottom we have an exponent of 1. Well, 2 minus 1 is 1. So we just get x to the first power, which would be x. Okay, so 3x squared divided by x is 3x. On to the next step, which is multiply. So on the left, you should see the steps that we wrote down earlier. Divide, then multiply. So now, what are we multiplying though? We are going to multiply 3x times x, and then 3x times negative 2. And we'll be writing that result right here. So 3x times x is 3x squared. Then 3x times negative 2 is negative 6x. On to the next step. Subtract. You can see the subtraction sign here in the front. We are subtracting 3x squared minus 3x squared, which is, which is 0. That is why you don't see a box here. And then 5x minus negative 6x. So 5x minus negative 6x. Let's write that out. 5x minus negative 6x. Well, that's just 5x plus 6x. So we are going to get 11x. Next, we bring down. So we are bringing down the minus 2. And the last step of the process, repeat. All right, repeating. Now we are dividing 11x by x. So 11x divided by x. 11x divided by x, the x's are going to cancel out, so we're just getting 11. Sorry. We should be writing that up here. Positive 11. Okay. Notice how all of the results when I am dividing are going at the top of the bar, right? So follow the colors. Okay. Now we are going to be multiplying 11 times x and then 11 times negative 2. So 11 times x is 11x. 11 times negative 2 is negative 22. Now we are subtracting. 11x minus 11x is nothing. That's why we don't have a box there. Negative 22 minus negative 2 minus negative 22. Sorry for making so many mistakes. Negative 2 minus negative 22. Negative 2 minus negative 22. That's negative 2 plus 22. So that is 20. Okay. Now we are done. Let me tell you why we are done. Normally we would bring down in this step, right? There is nothing else to bring down. There's nothing else up here to bring down. So we're done. Now we just want to write out our final answer As you can see, our final answer is up here at the top. And the remainder is here at the bottom. So we're going to write our answer as 3x plus 11 plus 20 over x minus 2. Now remember, x minus 2 is the divisor. That is our divisor. Okay. So we could no longer divide 20 by x minus 2. That's another way you know that you're finished. You cannot do 20 divided by x minus 2. So we're done. Final answer. Okay, let's do one more with the boxes already given to us. And then we're going to do one without. Okay, so coming to number 2, we have 4x squared minus 6x plus 1 divided by 2x minus 1. Now remember, we're going to be writing the divisor here and the dividend here. So let's begin. We have 2x minus 1 on the outside, and on the inside 4x squared minus 6x plus 1. Let's go ahead with step 1, divide. Then we'll move to step 2, multiply. Then step 3, subtract. Then step 4, bring down. And then finally, repeat. So we are doing 4x squared divided by 2x first. So it's the first term of the dividend divided by the first term of the divisor. So 4x squared divided by 2x according to the quotient rule will give us 2x. So we're going to write that result here, or that quotient here. Now we're moving to this next step, which is multiply. We'll be multiplying 2x times 2x and then 2x times negative 1. So 2x times 2x is 4x squared. And 2x times negative 1 is negative 2x. Now we're on our next step, which is to subtract. Notice how you should always kind of get the same, you should always get the same term here. That way they cancel out and you get 0. Always, okay? Just like basic long division that you learned in middle school. Okay. So we're subtracting 4x squared minus 4x squared is nothing, as we said, and negative 6x minus negative 2x. Negative 6x minus negative 2x. That's negative 6x plus 2x. So that is a positive, wakey, wakey. That is a negative 4x. So again, negative 6x minus negative 2x is negative 6x plus 2x. So that is a negative 4x. Okay? Negative 4x, and then make sure you bring down that positive 1. Now we are ready to repeat the cycle. We're going to be doing negative 4x divided by 2x. So let's work that out. Negative 4x divided by 2x, that is equal to negative 2. We write that here, negative 2. And now we are going to multiply negative 2 with 2x and negative 2 times negative 1. So negative 2 times 2x is negative 4x, and negative 2 we are going to do x to the third power minus 2x squared minus 4 divided by x minus 3. So let's go ahead and set this up. This time we don't have the boxes, but there's only a few basic things that you need to remember. On the outside, you're going to write your divisor, so that's x minus 3. On the inside, you're going to write your dividend. But notice when I look at the dividend, I have x to the third power. Then I have an x to the second power. I don't have x to the first power. But then I have a constant. So there's no x term. No x term. Well, what happens if one of the terms is missing? When we have that, we are required to include that term. We have to include that term even if it's missing. So what we're going to do is we're going to write x to the third power minus 2x squared plus 0x minus 4. So since there is no x term, I am allowed to write 0x. Because 0x means no x. So therefore, I am filling the gap of there being a missing x term. I'm filling that gap without changing the problem. So you have to do that. If there's a missing term, you have to fill it using a 0. Okay? All right. Let's do our 4 steps. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. So step 1 is x to the third power divided by x. X to the third power is x squared. Step 2, multiply. Multiply x squared times x, and then x squared times negative 3. X squared times x is x to the third power. X squared times negative 3 is negative 3x squared. Time to subtract. When subtracting, the x to the third power is going to cancel out. And then we have negative 2 minus negative 3. So that's negative 2 plus 3, which is 1x squared. 1x squared. Now we are bringing down 0x. Okay. You can also bring down the negative 4 as well, but let's just leave it for now. Okay. All right. We're repeating the process. So now we're doing x squared divided by x. X squared divided by x is just x. Next step, multiply. X times x, and then x times negative 3. So x times x is x squared. And x times negative 3 is negative 3x. Next step, subtract. This will cancel out, so we have 0 minus negative 3. 0 minus negative 3. That is 0 plus 3. So we are getting 3x there. Subtracting is done, so bring down the minus 4. Okay. Start the process over again. We are dividing. 3x divided by x is just 3. Now we multiply. 3 times x, 3 times negative 3. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. Now we're ready to subtract. This is going to cancel out. Negative 4 minus negative 9. Negative 4 minus negative 9 is negative 4 plus 9, which is 5. We get 5 here. And as you can see, there's nothing else to bring down here. There's nothing else to bring down. So 5 is our remainder. The final answer will be x squared plus x plus 3 plus 5 over x minus 3. Remember that x minus 3 is the divisor. And you have to write the remainder over the divisor. So that's the final answer. Done. Now let's talk about missing values. Problem number 5. We have a problem here, negative 2x to the third power minus 11x squared plus 30x plus 25 divided by negative 2x plus 5. We are trying to find missing values. So this comes in handy when you have those questions that instead of asking a straightforward question like divide this polynomial by this polynomial, right? Instead of asking that, they say a certain polynomial was divided by this polynomial. Here is the answer, or here is the quotient, right? Here's the answer to that problem. What was the polynomial that was being divided? So what was the dividend, right? A question like that is often going to be a little difficult to solve, but if you learn the box method, it will be easier for you to solve. So again, a question like that would be, here's the divisor, here's the quotient, right? Blah, 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 blah. But what was the dividend? This is where that's going to help us out, okay? Because we can fill in this box ourselves. Okay, so looking at the box so far, we have the divisor on the left, negative 2x plus 5. That should be on the left, right, as we know. Okay, let's start. Since we have this box here, we should be able to get this box by looking at these, okay? So the way that this works is these inside boxes are the product or the products of multiplication. So, for example, this box, negative 2x to the third power, comes about by multiplying this box times this box. Okay? So, this times this is this. 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 Now try to think, what is this box? It's going to be this box times this box. Hopefully you got that right. Now, what about this box? How do you get this? It is going to be this box times this box. So these two multiplied together will give you this one. Hopefully you got that right. So using that concept, we know that something was multiplied here with this to get this. So we have blank times negative, let's use this for times. Blank times negative 2x is equal to negative 2x to the third power. Well, what times negative 2x would give me negative 2x to the third power? I would need another x and I would need second power. According to the product rule, in order to get third power, right, and you only have first power, you need second, right? 2 plus 1 equals 3 for power rule. So in this box, we are writing x to the second power. Great, now we know that box. Try to think what box we're going to go to next. If you said this box, you are correct. This box is going to be the result of this box times this box. So x squared times 5, 5x squared. All right, it's working out well. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, the rest of the boxes are blank, right? I would need, in order to get this box, I would need this one and this one. So, can't do anything there. And in order to get this box, I would need this one and this one. So, we're in a cycle, right? But keep in mind the problem that we are doing. And if you recall box method for multiplying polynomials, if this is not your first time seeing box method for multiplying polynomials, you know that inside the boxes, at some point, you're going to have to combine like terms. And normally when you combine like terms, the like terms are diagonal from each other. So that tells me that I will have an x squared in this box. Now, what is the coefficient? I'm not sure. But again, I know it's going to be x squared because x squared is a like term with 5x squared. So these two boxes should be like terms, and these two boxes should be like terms. Okay, let's figure out what the coefficient is there. I know that when I combine my like terms, I want to achieve a negative 11x squared. That is the end goal. Negative 11x squared when I combine my like terms. So, what can I combine 5 with to get negative 11? What can I combine 5 with to get negative 11? If you said minus 16, you are correct. Five minus 16 is negative 11. Now you've achieved your like terms here, and look at that. You finally have something in this box so that you could figure out what goes in this box. Okay, now remember that this box times this box equals this box. So I'm going to write that out. Blank times negative 2x equals negative 16x squared. What times negative 2x would give me a negative 16x squared? Well, I'll tell you one thing. I know I need another x, because x to the first and x to the first makes x to the second. Now, what do I multiply negative 2 with to get negative 16? if you said positive 8, you're correct. 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. So in this box, we are writing 8x to the first power, which is just 8x. And again, we are able to find the next box, which hopefully you said this one is the next box. Well, what goes in here? The result of this box is going to be 8x times 5. So that is going to be 40x. Okay? And again, we're in a situation where we can't find this box without this one. And we can't find this box without this one. And same here, we can't find this box without this one. So what do? Well, look at what we highlighted earlier. This box, we know it has to be a like term with this box. So what's a like term with 40x? Something x. How do you know the coefficient? Go up to your problem. You're trying to attain 30x. You're trying to achieve 30x. What can I combine 40 with to get 30? Hopefully you said minus 10. 40 minus 10 is positive 30. And now that you have this box, you can go ahead and find this one. Well, we're in this cycle again. So we know that this box here is achieved by multiplying this one with this one. So we're going to set up blank times negative 2x equals negative 10x. What times negative 2x would give me negative 10x? I'll tell you one thing, I already have enough x's. So what times negative 2 is negative 10? Hopefully you said 5. 5 times negative 2x is negative 10x. So this box is 5. And now that we have this box, along with this box, we can achieve this one. 5 times 5 is 25. And look at that. Our last term, which is a constant, is in the box. So, last thing you want to do to check your answer is go ahead and take everything out of the boxes and make sure you get your dividend. So, in here, we have negative 2x to the third power. Combine like terms. In the green highlighter, we have 5x squared minus 16x squared. It's negative 11x squared. In the pink highlighter, combining like terms, we have 40x minus 10x. That is positive 30x. And last, we have a constant, no like terms for the 25. So there's the constant. And as you can see, we've written the dividend exactly the same. That's how you'll know that everything you put in the boxes was correct. So think of the box method. The box method is used to find missing values. Okay, originally, people who use box method know that we use it to multiply polynomials. So x squared plus 8x plus 5 times negative 2x plus 5 is equal to negative 2x third minus 11x squared plus 30x plus 25. I will write that out here. X squared plus 8x plus 5 times negative 2x plus 5 is equal to negative 2x third minus 11x squared plus 30x plus 25. All right, that is going to conclude this video.